Two. Two, what's up? Ernest, what's up? Last day of the month. Happy Monday, January 31st, 2022. We are back. We are back like we never left. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in right now. Welcome, Market Mondays, the biggest show on investment on the planet. That's a fact. Shout out to everybody that was part of the record-breaking week last week. Let's do it again. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. Let's let the team in. Let's let the bros in. Let's let all our sisters in. Hopefully everybody had a glorious day. A lot of green on the board. A lot of green on the board today.
Yes.
Now that shop that makes more sense.
Welcome back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to it. A lot going on, a lot to talk about. Glorious day, as always. Monday. Start of the week.
Love is love. What's going on?
But the week never stops.
Fact. Been working. Every day. Every day.
Monday through Sunday.
Shout out to everybody that weathered that storm this weekend. Shout out to all my people in Rhode Island that got battered with 24 inches of snow.
Shout out to London on the check-in.
Shout out to the UK. That's a big one. Yeah.
Yes.
Chicago, what's up?
Hopefully everybody made some money this
Today for sure, right?
Well, since Market Mondays last week.
Last week for sure.
Definitely. Hopefully we'll talk about that later on. What's up, brother?
What's going on, brother? How y'all feeling?
It's good, man. They got you in the they got you in Web3 right now, huh? Like an avatar.
Little metaverse.
Yeah, you're in the metaverse.
Yeah. Army jacket lining.
Reporting live from the metaverse.
Hey, man, we got to step it up a little bit. We got a big announcement. I can't wait till we get to that.
Yes.
Oh, baby. I'm good,
feeling?
man. How you feeling? Good, man. Peaceful, meditated. No pineapple juice.
Not today.
But I'm good. I'm good, man. How y'all doing with that snow?
It was, Saturday was bad. We got hit bad on Saturday, but it cleared up pretty good on Sunday. And now it's just more of annoying now. You get out your car, you gotta, hike through like 2 feet of snow on the sidewalk, but it's cool.
Yeah, fresh. You can't get fresh. It's tough.
You gotta put on that purple tape and some Timberlands and get to it.
It's tough.
Shoveling.
You wear Timbs in the snow?
Nah,
we don't wear Timbs in the snow.
Nah, you can't ruin the Timbs. Unless an old pair of Timbs, I don't care about.
Leather. It gotta be leather.
Yeah. I wear the butters old, like something I don't care about.
Like with a tongue.
Some joints you have from 99 or something.
The tongue is it look like it's thirsty for water.
Yeah. But shout out to everybody in the Northeast going through that Northeastern that we went through. That was crazy.
This is all Gore-Tex weather, yo.
Absolutely.
All Gore-Tex weather.
Absolutely. So, all right. Welcome to Market Mondays, everybody. Welcome back to Market Mondays. We got a action-packed show for you guys, as always. I'll quickly just go over some announcements. EYL, big week for us. Shout out to Julian Gordon. We haven't talked about real estate in a very long time. My brother MG, the mortgage guy, and Kiana Watson, they have a real estate podcast called Rants and Gems. Make sure you check it out. So
please tune in.
We haven't really covered real estate in a while, but I felt like it would be perfect timing to revisit the real estate conversation. So Julian Gordon, he was at InvestFest. He's a very interesting guy. I went to Stanford. He got his MBA from Stanford, which is one of the most
smart.
Yeah, one of the most prestigious business schools of all time. His classmate was actually Datavio.
Yeah, shout out to Revolt.
Who's the head of Revolt.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so long story short, he's an extremely smart guy. And his thing is multifamily home investing. He's like, the champion of multifamily real estate. So we did a whole episode about multifamily real estate investing, like how to buy a multifamily home, why you should buy a multifamily home, different programs like NACA, 203K loans, go through the in and out. Gentrification.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about gentrification, how you can spot early signs of gentrification.
Why it's not a bad thing, necessarily.
Yeah, had a whole conversation about gentrification.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
That's a good segment. Might clip that up ASAP.
Yeah. So Julian, he's very controversial. He always says something like he told people that they was homeless if you rent.
Hey, he took the breath out the room.
Yeah. I remember just backstage listening to that. Like, wait, did he just say that?
Yeah, Julian.
And then watching it back made it even crazy. I'm like, yo, he really went.
But he stands on what he says,
yeah.
and he's very, very intelligent. So
Yeah.
tomorrow, 8:00, make sure you check that episode out. Big episode. And then this Wednesday for EYL University is a big class. Shout out to AK Anundrum. She's going to be teaching about virtual reality, doing business virtual reality, the future of e-commerce. And then I'm teaching a financial planning class, I think, this Saturday.
Yeah.
I think so. I got to talk to Janet, but don't be surprised.
Breaking news alert.
Don't be surprised if you see me.
Man.
And then also, before I hand the torch off to Troy, don't forget also that this will be a very, very special episode because tomorrow, shout out to the good folks at Apple Podcasts. They've been extremely helpful and beneficial. Shout out to my brother Patrick over there, and shout out to the whole team at Apple. They're big fans of what we have going on. So they decided that tomorrow they're going to highlight Market Mondays on the homepage. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to happen, but on the homepage of Apple Podcasts podcast page, Market Mondays will be featured. So share the screenshots. When I actually see like how it's actually be done, of course.
We're gonna put out ASAP.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to the good folks at Apple. We talk about them enough. I mean, the least they can do now. So
Tim Cook, you need to come on. As much as I talked about y'all, man.
It's a fact.
And Tony Robbins, I gave all brand equity away to y'all.
That's a fact, man. As much we talk about Apple stock, but I'm not. Shout out to them, man. And make sure you subscribe to Market Mondays on Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating. Leave a review. Sharing your stories. We appreciate it.
They said we need the sound machine.
Funny you say that.
Wouldn't be a bad time. Be a bad time.
The sound machine.
Let's get it going.
Let's get it going. We're gonna have some fun with it today.
Of course.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
I ain't get my drops in the time, but next week I got you.
Oh, the drop.
Halfway.
How you ain't get your drops in time? Nah, but we're gonna have some fun with it tonight. Let's get what we
I
got.
have to make sure everybody was straight off these drops that happen in the market. First thing first.
We're going through the trademarking process for these drops. First things first, man. Earners, Red Panda family, want to let you know about a great choice if you're looking to bank or invest. Ally is a leading digital financial service company with passionate customer service, innovative financial solutions, and are relentlessly focused on doing it right for both customers and our community. So get with Ally so that you can save, invest, and spend on the things that matter most to you. For everything that we need, we're all better off with an Ally. Shout out to the folks at Ally. Shout out to the folks at United Masters, our good friends over there, John, Ryan, Ian, what's going on? Love is love. Now, folks, you know how this works, man. Do your own homework, do your own research. Here's the disclaimer. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment decision based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you hear on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. This is a message brought to you by the good folks at Earn Your Leisure and the good brother Ian Dunlap, the master investor himself.
Yes.
There goes the
And
link.
if I made you money, please put yes in chat. Y'all better go crazy when Apple put this up tomorrow.
Big fat.
For the culture, didn't change, didn't stop the rap narrative. Like, yo, crown and day for us. Red Panda and Earners, I'm proud of y'all.
That's it. Ian, yeah, the ball's in your court. Any announcements that you want to make?
I appreciate it. Stock Club call will be tonight, 9 p.m. Central. Trading After Dark will return tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. And if you're in LA tomorrow, if you're in Red Panda, I'm gonna send you a little invitation to come hang out, come vibe for a little bit. I want to thank you for letting me use your studio. You want to promote your studio, or you want to be quiet?
Oh, friend of the show, friend of the movement. What's going on?
Come on, tell everybody, hey, real quick. Promote the business.
Hey, we got a special guest.
Hi guys.
Hey.
I can't hear anything though because you got the earbuds. Okay. Hi. When you guys come back to LA, I want you to come to my studio, iGasm Studios.
That's a fact.
I can't hear you, so he's gonna have to. What are they saying?
No, that's a fact.
Okay. All right. I can't wait to see you guys again.
Yeah, we'll be out there shortly.
We'll be out there shortly.
Shortly.
good friend of the program.
Oh man, the
Shout-
one and only
shout-
Melissa Ford.
Shout out to the legendary Melissa Ford. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen.
Entertainment value is high. I don't know. You're not gonna get this on CNBC. Kate, Mary, I love you dearly. I'm just saying. So don't block us from coming on. Shout out Josh and Bono, Pete and Jerry, and love you guys. But entertainment value is high for the culture. What we doing, man?
She changed her hair last time we saw her. She didn't have. She had the
Shotty said she changed her hair up.
Yeah, it was. I know it was a Jamaica trip. I know it was.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. So let's start off with some correlation between sports and stock investing. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes. Big
Give him a shout out.
well, because we're gonna talk about him.
All right.
So I don't want
That's still a monster.
Yeah,
nah, he's a monster. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
He's a monster. He's a monster.
Just want to live Brett Favre. That's all.
So, but it was a couple things that we can kind of take away from that game yesterday. So, what are two lessons that we can take away from last night's game to apply to investing?
Man, the first one, go for the safe play and not the sensational one. Sometimes when you have incredible talent, and we've seen it with Kathy, Peter Lynch in the past, sometimes you try and force the play that will look really good opposed to the one that's safe. So, like a lot of times you guys are like, hey, man, I'm tired of you telling me about Apple and Microsoft. And I'm like, I feel you, but if you want to be rich, those are the empires you need to put your money into. It is sexier to put it into Lucid or Rivian, and hopefully you'll get 300% in a quarter off of it. But when it falls down, it's not good. And I go back to Tom Brady. Tom Brady's average completion is 7.4 yards per pass. It's a lot of people. Man, right now, Joe Burrow looks like he can dog walk Tom Brady, right? But it's about consistency. And then number two, in those big moments, it felt like because he was trying to make up for last year and wanted to get out of Tom's shadow, he tried to do too much. Mm-hmm. So in investing, it's like, okay, great. Instead of having 4, you're like, let me have 20 stocks, or let me have 20 and do options and crypto and binary, and I'm going to do a shit coin, and I'm going to flip real estate. It's like, you can't do everything at one time. You have to focus on one thing at a time. So Pat's one of the greatest quarterbacks I think to ever touch the field, but simplicity wins championships, and defense matters more than anything.
Yeah, I'll add to that. I'll safety first, man. I mean, you nailed it, right? Like sometimes the obvious is right in front of you. The simple thing is right in front of you. The 4 or 5 yard rush, like the simple investment is in front of you, and you want to hit the home run because it looks better, right? That the first touchdown to Tyreek is a highlight, but everything doesn't have to be a highlight. The win is the ultimate highlight. I would also add to that making adjustments. And so if you look in the first half, right, you're up 21-3, you're dominating. The defense is adjusted, right? Like the market will adjust, like it corrects. What adjustments will you make now, right? And when you don't make an adjustment, you'll see what happens. You'll look sloppy. You'll take more risks, right? You'll try to make a highlight. When if you just made your adjustments going into the half, all right, we're up, but we could do better. Still playing safety first. Let's make some adjustments because we know that the market's going to make adjustments, or the defense or the other team's going to make adjustments. And now we can even spread our wins or increase them. But that didn't happen yesterday. And a lot of y'all last week, prime example, right? The market adjusted. Did you make your entry points, right? Were you ready to go back into the game? And a lot of you weren't. Hopefully everybody who was watching last week did and made some profits over the past couple of days. But that would be my two things: safety and making adjustments.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely he made some interesting plays towards the end of the game. But
they said he went Johnny Manziel on.
Sometimes you just got to take the safe check down, 5 yard check down, and you can't try to scramble and lose 28 yards in 2 plays.
Yeah, and then just throw it up.
Yeah.
We saw it twice though. Not even just Mahomes. We saw it with Garoppolo in the fourth quarter, right? Yeah. Everything was smooth. They were up 17-7, and then all right, now here comes the pressure. Now what? Now you're down. Now you have to bring him back. Now you just, he couldn't complete a pass, and then he just threw something in the air on the last ditch effort, and it was like adjustments weren't made on his point in the end.
And you can see his spirit was broken. Like when you're trying to go for those home runs all the time, like the thing about Brady, and then when you see him start to beat his chest, he knows between 4 and 9 yards, he has a completion coming. Now they still need an AB. And I can argue that AB made a lot of room for Gronk to kill in Tampa Bay, right? But when you're going for shorter wins, it takes the pressure off of you. Traders, please put yes in chat. You ever tried to go for a big ass win, 10,000, 25,000, and psychologically you would have been a lot better off going for a $3,000 win and getting 3 of those and then going for a bigger target. That's why I always tell everybody in Red Panda, like, go for a short target first if you need to build your confidence up. Like, it's okay to get a layup first. Then if you want to shoot a 28-footer, go for it. But you need to build that confidence. And same thing with Apple. Apple, Brady, great protection. Like, what's the most that Apple has drawn down in the last 18 months? Apple has the smallest drawdown of any major technology company. For those who don't know what drawdown is how much it drops from top to bottom. And to be worth, like, Apple right now is worth 3 of Visa.
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys are like, hey, what else? I'm like, they're about to try and come kill Square. And later tonight, we'll talk about if I think Square still new to JP Morgan, right? But they're worth 3 of Visa right now. No, they're not going to buy Peloton. Why would they? Peloton's trash. I'm sorry. But defense matters. And trading, this matters even more. Everybody can trade, right? Snipers, I want y'all to put snipers in chat. Everybody can get a win. What's the thing that cripples you when you lose 3,000, 8,000, 15,000? Shout out to you that I saw in Atlanta this weekend. It's not the wins that will do it. It's losing 20%, 50% of your account, and now you feel like you can't get back to break even. Because when you lose 50, it's not 50% to get back to break even. You really need like 1,000% gain to psychologically be back and also have your account be back where it was. So defense means everything, even though a lot of you may not want to hear it.
You know, and that, you said that, but now I'm thinking about just getting short-term gains and letting that accumulate and letting that build, right? It's kind of like Odell yesterday. Like, he's like the unsung hero of the game.
Shout out to him. Yep.
6-yard gain, 7-yard gain, breaks it for a 30-yard gain. At the end of the game, he has 9 catches for 113 yards. You can do that, right? Like, but most people want to have the 3-touchdown day or the 200-yard game. Get the 6-yard game, move the chains.
And let's be honest, when Randy was there with Brady and they were going undefeated and he was torching them, you cover 2, couldn't touch Randy, right? But in the crunch, what happened? Too much pressure. Sometimes it's like, I'm glad that we had those Zoom glitches with Bono in early year 1, right? Because now it's like, we know how to adjust. We know how to recover. You don't want to have your losses when everything is on the line. So for those of you that have been through losses, it's better that you go to them now with a $10,000 account opposed to losing $1.5 million to, like, I've talked to somebody this weekend, they lost $4 million last year on the option side. I'm like, man, if I would have just listened to you, I'm like, easy, $1.5 million, 1.3. I get it. So this is why I would say stick to strategy no matter what happens. Run your game plan, protect the ball, protect your account. You'll be good. You'll be good.
Speaking of options, let's take a quick detour. Troy, I want to talk about something that we did the other day on Friday.
Was this on the Runner show? No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Audible. Now, Troy, we did something that I don't usually do. I went against my usual pattern, but every now and then I deviate. And there was an interesting thing that you had brought to my attention of Robinhood.
Yeah.
Shout out to Robinhood.
Shout out to good folks at Robinhood.
And you know, we looked at the stock and the stock was down, I believe, 85% from its high. And you had all this details on, you know, Robinhood and why you thought that it would be a good play and different things of that nature. So we put an option call on Robinhood.
Yes, we did.
$20 option call.
Where's your entry?
Made it. What was it?
So at the time, the stock was like at 10 something,
10
and
something?
our bid was like, we got like 350.
Oh, you good.
So yeah, it was up 25% today. Quick 25% profit. Like I said, I usually don't do individual stocks, but
so imagine the conversation I had to have with him for him to do it.
I did. I do believe.
Why would I do it now?
Exactly.
You gotta talk to him for an hour, right? I know because I didn't get a text about it. I know you'll argue for hours.
It was a 15-minute call. And what happened was, you know, like when you watch some of these investment shows, they always talk about unusual activity at a certain strike price. And so obviously we saw Robinhood just take a hit, right? They missed on their earnings. They missed almost on everything, their guidance, everything. they dropped down to $9.44. And now we found out that Kathy Wood bought $31 million worth of shares, but we didn't know that then. And so I was just looking at the actual stock. I'm like, all right, well, let's see how many people are making puts on it. And when I looked at the puts, I actually saw the calls had an unusual number of volume at the 20 call. And that wasn't just for like 2024. It was like short-term and long-term. I'm just like, man, this is unusual. And so I started digging deeper. I wanted to look inside of the history of the option, see where it originated at. At one point, it was at $2,800 a contract. So when I see it down at $350 a contract, now I'm interested, right? Because I'm looking at the floor. I'm like, all right, well, has Robinhood hit its floor? And so then I had to show them why I think it's if it hasn't hit its floor, it's damn near it. The upside, right? Even if it moves 5 to 6% in a year, we can get to $20 by 2024, right? They still have over 40 million users. They still have crypto as an asset that they can use when they're dropping their crypto wallet. So there was all these things that were pointing toward it. And I'm like, all right, we don't have to load the boat on it, but let's buy a few contracts here. And obviously it worked out enough in our advantage for the first couple of days. We'll see how it does over the next couple of months.
What's your percentage exit price that you guys are going for?
Selfishly, I like anything over 50 to 100% on this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my range. If it goes over that, I'm happy. But 50 to 100.
Yeah, I think 100% is definitely doable. Monitor the situation at 50%. See how more comfortable. And I feel comfortable about Robinhood though, because I actually got a chance to actually visit the facility in Silicon Valley and speak with leadership.
You know how they got subtle shade? Like your subtle flex is phenomenal. Another leadership. Okay? Another one. Job well done.
Oh man. So
Mike, clip that up.
That was fly. That was fly.
That was tough. You in a good mood today. You have to run around, go out through the city. I feel you.
Yo, that was fly.
But we'll see. But yeah, no, I just go, Troy, like I said, every now and then, we just do something, it didn't put too much in, but Troy, he's always doing research and he's always looking at like volume plays, the volume that's coming into the option calls and all that. He does that stuff all day. So yeah, just wanted to let them know that.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody that was on. I held a little something for our people who attended Apollo.
Not a little something, you an exceptional.
An exceptional performance at the Apollo. Our people who attended the Saturday gathering. I should call it that because it wasn't more than just a sit down. It was a learning session, but it was a gathering. It was a nice social environment. We held something for them this Saturday, and so if they were there, we talked about it. Hopefully, you got into the positions early this morning because it was still at that 350 range. I know it got up to like 485. So that was a nice play. That was a nice one.
Yeah, we need the Don DeMarco.
Don DeMarco. Flex bomb.
Shotty, you should get out at 1958. Like that's because I know you're conservative. So if let's start take profit at 1958.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. The price target on it is actually 1955. That's interesting. You said that. So
my name.
Most analysts, and that's one of the things I was showing people how to research too, is let's see what the analysts are saying. So there's over 200 analysts. You study that, you get an average. So the average was about 1955 for December of this year. So that's interesting.
If you guys are not in it already, please don't chase it. I don't want you to die. I don't want you to see no death.
No.
It's too late.
This is something that
you didn't shoot your shot when you were supposed to. It's going, family.
Yeah. But we got to find a new gym.
Find a new one. All right, let's talk about this. Okay. What are 3 big lessons learned from last week's drop?
Number one, everyone is focusing on the short term, and I think media does that to trick you out of your spot. Like we had 3 to 4 weeks of a pullback. That's nothing. Some of y'all been in bad relationships 5 years, and you like, man, the market's crashing. I'm like, no, the relationship crashing. Why don't you get out of that? Moment of silence. Okay, I'll keep going. Number 2.
Hold on, Ian, I got you.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Number 2. Now I'm gonna stay. I have water. I'm peaceful today, right? I meditated. Got a little coconut oil on. You have to focus on the highest quality assets. So for those who bought in at great prices on crypto stocks, you were fine. It wasn't that hard of a drawdown. If you're seeing something fall back 50%, 55%, 60% from a year ago, It wasn't a good asset to begin with. And then number 3, I'm realizing almost everybody is buying way too damn high. Like when you buy a good company, good business, good brand, you don't have those same kind of fears. Now, for my veterans, I've always told you, when it's a bloody week like that or 2 weeks like that, don't open your account. It makes it a hell of a lot easier because then you'll start to have FOMO and move things around that you shouldn't. But people are buying too high and hoping. And tonight on Stock Club Call, I'll walk you guys through. But I want to tell you guys, like, if the high is 100, when it gets to 95, you have to stop. You have to stop buying and wait for it. And now, remember a few months ago, I was like, hey, a crash is going to come. There were some people in the comments who were not pandas or earners, and they weren't familiar with us, and they were like, no, it's not going to happen. And now we're there. Now, even everybody on the Bitcoin side is like, yo, 30 is probable. And if 30 breaks, 21 will be sitting there for you. You have to wait for the right prices to buy the best assets in the world and not gamble. And shout out to Chris. He had a great quote. He was like, how do you guys say you want generational wealth and you won't hold the stock for 3 or 4 weeks? Like, y'all just saying it because it sounds cute on IG because you want Baby Girl to DM you. Stay dedicated to the craft. If you look at any stock over a 5 to 10 year period, crypto 5 to 10 year period, you would be crazy to get out of anything that is of high quality. Don't do it.
Yeah, I would say execute, man. That's the biggest lesson, right? Like we can talk about the price points and we can talk about entries, but if you're not actually executing on it, then what are you just hoarding the information? And that becomes super dangerous, right? Like you can know a lot and do nothing with it. So that you like, they always tell you about like knowledge is power. I'm like, nah, man, knowledge is power when it's executed.
When it's executed.
When you execute it, that's when it becomes powerful. So like execute. Like we told you.
And can I be real? Even with that?
Hold on real quick.
Right, yeah.
We spoke about 4 stocks that we invested in, but there was some other ones too that you could have, right? If you would have invested in Netflix when it was 376, right? Think about this. Right? It was at 376. Within 3 days, it's up at 425. It got up to today. Right. We're talking about a company that you've been paying probably for the last 8 years without unconsciously paying, right? And they raising prices on your subscription now, and you're not even going to blink. So it's a company that you're already spending with. It actually hit a low for 52 weeks. And it's like, all right, well, is this a good point? Yeah, we gave you 4. And if you were watching Netflix, you could have obviously had a nice run up.
Yeah. If you're playing these option calls too, that you gotta, when something hits a 52-week low, you gotta start to consider. Even if it's not a long-term play. I mean, even Zoom's up $10 today.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really
Actually going back to the ground though.
Yeah, but I mean, if you did the option, you're gonna make some money. Right. So it's one of these.
But I don't want them to come back and blame us. And me and Shorty told me to.
Oh no! Well, disclaimer: I'm not telling you to do it. Please do
your own research. So hopefully you don't have to go through that.
Yes. Nah, I'm not telling you nothing.
Because then they gonna have their own mic clipped it up. So we gotta play defense. You're not gonna strip me. No pick 6 over here. Nope.
You said no pick 6.
Man,
remember the time they said no. Go ahead.
Let's talk about the top 1% of America. How much money do you need to be in the top 1% of America?
I know you guys hate when I do these stats, but I want to give you context. So for the UAE, you need 922,000 to be in the top 1%, and for the United States of America, you need $488,000 to be in the top 1%.
How much?
Now, how much? 488,000
to be in the top. What was the first number you said?
922,000 for the UAE to be in the top 1%. United Arab
Emirates and 488,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
United States.
I think it's going up. Investcomp, they got it at 758,000 a year in order to join the 1%.
To make a year.
Yeah.
How much do you have to have in total net worth?
I think the net worth has to be 11.1 million.
Oh,
that's cap. But
I'm like, damn,
that's a big difference.
That's cap.
I said,
shout out to Investopedia. Caleb, I love you. I know you'll be like, yo, man, hey, I'm not pandering.
Just when you think you're doing well.
but listen, Ross, now I'm going to ask you, because it's a great quote that people don't always want to hear the truth. Can I tell you, do you guys want to hear the truth or no? Shout out to Pat Lewis. I appreciate you. Even in assets over liabilities, you guys should watch the episode, tune in on Revolt. Ross told you, you saw that, like, watch a person body language when they tell you something. He said, what did he say? I feel uncomfortable with 10. Then look what happened with inflation. And I know everybody like, yo, if I used to say it too when I have any money, man, I get the 10. Give it to me, I'll be good. And then guess what happens? The burden of having the money, and we're going to get a whole bunch of people on YouTube that are quiet, but they are clapping at home. The burden when you get any money, the number of people that you then have to take care of and all the defense that you have to play, and then mitigation of risk on the lawsuit side, it's not enough. It's not enough.
Oh,
And we see the house of cards beginning to crumble in the country. And truth be told, if the job market, well, if the educational system led to the outcome financially that we wanted in the job market, and then people were treated well in the job market and were able to actually progress and make more money, there would be no room for the crypto market. The crypto market booming the way that it is a reflection of the degradation of the American education system, and the job market isn't working. The same people who were telling me, hey, employers need to treat their employees better, were telling me Antonio Brown was crazy for walking off the field when the coach told him, get your ass off my team. Huh? Like, you have to be mindful of what stage. Please go read Ray Dalio's book. You have to understand what stage of the game we are in terms of our empire. And and anyone that has traveled to anywhere overseas, America damn near has no edge in anything but angel investing, technology stocks going public, and probably media and entertainment. Every other country, China, Japan, Spain, they are running circles around us in a bunch of areas, educationally and in terms of the job market. So we got to make the adjustment and be mindful.
Be mindful. Very important. Shout out to YouTube. 8,100 people want to check in.
Yeah,
Hit the like button. Extremely important.
Love y'all.
Let's take another detour from the script that I know I'm interested in talking about. I had talked about this a couple of days ago with you guys in group chat, but Elon Musk, the great Elon Musk. He's always saying something. He recently made news when he said that the robots actually have an opportunity to be the biggest part of Tesla's business, bigger than cars, bigger than electric panels.
Yes, number one focus.
Solar panels. Number one focus. And then also he made that coin go up crazy.
Yeah. He said that he would eat McDonald's alive if
they accept
Dogecoin.
Then McDonald's said,
well, then the Grimace coin. When
Grime coin,
no, because McDonald's made a statement saying something. I forget what they said. They said something about the Grimace coin.
Yeah, it was a Grimace coin.
And then Grimace coin went up
Like 52,000%.
52,000%. So Tesla stock, a lot of people are invested in Tesla stock, and it's been, something that's been up and down. It's actually up $90 today.
Yeah.
It's back almost at $1,936. 938 after hours.
Listen, you guys know I'm not pro options, but any of you hit option today on Tesla, congrats. Amazing. Go ahead.
So how you feel about Tesla stock?
I'm long-term investing in Tesla.
You a Tesla stock owner or an option owner?
Well, I have an option owner, and I'm thinking about maybe exercising one or two of the contracts to get to the top with them. But so my option call on Tesla was at 500 for 2023 of January next year. So obviously I'm just calculating that. I've looked at the price targets on that. Everybody has it pretty much by that point, maybe at 13 to 1,500, which is kind of the consensus. I know Kathy was something like 3,000 or something like that. But yeah, innovation, obviously the EV, they dominate that space, but the robot thing is, I feel like these things are coming into fruition.
Optimus, that's the name of the robot, Optimus.
It's
a fire brand name too.
It's iRobot come to life. So yeah, I'm long on Tesla.
It's a foreshadow. I mean, I've been screaming Tesla forever. Shout out to everybody in Stock Club. I know you guys were panicked when it had dropped to 800. It's gonna recover. I wish he would stop with the antics, but I get he doesn't have enough help. Like, and for all of you that are, especially everybody in Red Panda, all the earners, put in chat, who's the third best executive at Tesla? See, most could name some other executives at Apple, so he has to do these antics to stay in front of the camera, all in the video, to keep the branding and marketing going up. China is squeezing Tesla a little bit, and that is concerning. But long term, I think it's an incredible stock. As long as he is there, I love Tesla. If he leaves, the value of that company will probably get chopped in half. But yeah, Elon is amazing. Next big target I have for it is 1186.06. Probably happen in less than 4.5 months. So continue to hold. Long-term investing is the wave. Like if you're new, hold everything 10 years, decade hold or more, and you're good.
Please, like he's not just saying that. Like that's like real. Like just hold the positions that you're in, right? Like even going back to last week, Microsoft was at 276. It's up 15% since then. That means if you bought it at that time, you're already up 15% on the investment that you made.
For doing nothing.
For doing nothing. All you did was say, all right, I'm going to buy it at this number and I'm going to keep it for the next 5 to 10, 15, 20 years. Give it to your kids, put in a custodial account, do all these things. You're starting within a week, you're up 15%. Imagine what that looks like in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, y'all.
Please put it in the chat. I deserve to have everlasting wealth. The big issue that we have in our community is not about knowing what to buy. Like if Supreme went public, what do you think that price would be? I saw that the Bathing Apes finally gonna come out with an NFT collection. I think that one's gonna boom. And we make all the brands popular, but the issue is like we have to break down the psyche of not, because I think we think if we invest, we have to be boring and wear like Payless shoes and $5 khakis. Like you can still be flying and invest. I just want you to put most of your money.
They don't think that anymore. They saw our Basel.
So
another one.
Hey, shout out Khaled. But we the best. Continue to hold everything for an eternity. And if you look at the people that have really built wealth, go look at the Walton family. I know I'm gonna sound like Kanye. Walton family, Rothschilds, Disney, the original families that founded this country. How long have they held their assets on average? Like I say, clip this up, please. Never listen to me. Listen to the top 5 families, top 5 countries, top 5 companies. See how long they are looking to hold. Once you know how long they're looking to hold, you're good. Everybody who owns all those skyscrapers in New York, they're not trying to flip them on a 2-year or a 10-year. And trust me, there's way more money in holding. And even with this, it's easier to get capital when you have long-term investments. Like, let's say you want to go buy this building over here. If you're trading, they're not going to loan you anything because the probability of a person trading very well is less than 3%.
Mm-hmm.
If you hold them for long term, then you can leverage those assets and do other things and have other liquidity come to you. So,
yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about the S&P. Well, let's talk about the top 5 stock market losses from 2028 to 2021 and what we can learn from them.
I mean, I got this post from Josh Brown, and we talked about this maybe the 5th episode of Market Mondays, but write this down. Only 5% of the time, the market would drop 40% or more. For those of you that experienced this for the first time last week, I'm sorry, but it will make you a better investor. But those are also the times to be buying when everyone is like panicking and everyone in the world is talking about it, right? Only 10% of the time does the market drop 30% or more. 20% of the time does it drop 20% or more. And then 95% of the time, the market off the all-time highs would drop 5%. It is a game of patience. So when a market drops 40, write this down, to 63% for a quality top 50 company, that's when you want to look to buy. That's when you want to start to load the boat. Stock Club, I'll have those percentages in there for you tomorrow as well. So don't worry about that. But that's why I say 5% off the high. If you're buying there, you have a 95% chance of where you bought at, it's going to go against you. Just wait to buy deeper in a deeper hole and you'll be good. It is ultimately a game of patience. And I want all of you to be wealthy. I want all of you to be rich. I want all of you to be master investors. And truth be told, there's no competition in investing, because if you're buying equities, no one person or a group of Black people collectively could buy all the shares in the company. It's impossible. So if we team together and get in at the best prices, we all collectively can make money and be wealthy together. But you have to wait for these spots and know what the probabilities are in the market.
Yeah, and the time of when these crashes were occurring. Like, that's important too. Like if you look at Black Monday, October. If you look at .com bubble again in October, September. Same thing with the financial crisis of 2008, September, October. Corona obviously happened in March, and I think the 1929 stock market crash started in March, but just the times of the year, right? Like we've seen 3 of the biggest crises have happened in September, October, the third quarter of the year. And so when we tell people, and we've said this plenty of times, especially here on the show, like, all right, well, the best months to invest in, right, are November, December, the end of that first quarter, and then again right before the summer quarter, because we know the system of how investments work. So when crashes like this, not even crashes, when pullbacks happen like this, or we study,
it was a slight pullback.
Well, the NASDAQ almost had its worst January of all time. If not for today, it would have had the worst January in the history of the NASDAQ.
It sounds sexy. It's like Jay-Z's at the lowest streaming point in his career.
But that's
it teetered at a bear market for the NASDAQ. 17%, 20%.
20% would have been, yeah.
It teetered.
It was close.
Teetered at a bear market.
But it's a valuable learning lesson.
So
the volatility ratio versus the S&P 500, which is weighted more because NASDAQ has less stocks, it is almost damn near equal. The return, someone tell me what the 7-year return of NASDAQ is. There's one thing that when Ben and Mike was on, in order to get great risk, there has to be great volatility tied to that stock, equity, or asset that you're investing in. You want something really safe, go get bonds, and then you're going to be flat or negative or slightly positive, right? That's why when Tesla drops 25%, it fucking sucks. And then when it goes up 90% in your favor, you love it. There is a ratio of volatility in a stock or asset. Like me, I'm really volatile. Prices, fire. That's what come with it. Now, if these entries were not great, man, I got to be quiet as a church mouse. And I got to play the whole, doing everything for the culture, and I'm looking out for y'all, because a lot of people play that game and then they make y'all no money. You have to understand, like, the more volatility something has, the greater the upside it will have. But you have to be able to stomach that risk and then buy in the deepest.
And you got to have patience too, because the NASDAQ did nothing for 10 years, from 2010 from 2000 to 2010. Depending on where you got in, you actually are negative in the NASDAQ for 10. That's a long time. That's a decade. After that, it just skyrocketed. Nobody
to Obama, quantitative easing.
But nobody wants to talk about the 10 years where it did nothing. 10 years is a long period of time.
It's a decade.
That's a hell of a time to build a bit. So for all my entrepreneurs, I know y'all never sell shares, but let's say if y'all have flat, growth, which is impossible, right? But hypothetically, if you did for 10 years, that would be a great time to chip away and just build a base. Because if you're buying 5,000 shares a year for a 10-year period, when it then takes off, what is the value worth?
It is.
So even when things are smooth and not going the way that you want, for my trader, same thing. Like, you ever notice at the open, the market will pop up and then it'll swing back down, and then you get a little flutter, and now it's flat right before 9:30. A breakout move is going to come. So what you're trading, practice your entries for your long term, and then if you hold long term, the more shares you have is the name of the game. You want to get as many blocks as possible on a record. You'll be good. Like, I know these lessons have been repeated, but the great lessons that really help you win are the ones that are based on fundamentals and won't change. I know y'all think it's some magical secret that I have with this crystal ball. It is me just literally picking the percentages of prices. And for those of you in real estate, I'll go back to my New York example. If you can catch a brownstone right now for 32% off, are you guys gonna go in? Or are you gonna be like, well, it dropped 20%? No, because the value and the equity is gonna be on the upside in a couple of years anyway. And once you do this in business and stocks, and really, it's gonna go across the board. And for those of you who need income, I get it. You have to then build a business or get another job. That's the only answer. The stock market alone may not give you all the income that you want if you don't have a big enough bag. But if you go get more money and then put it into this machine that will churn out more money for you legally, you're good.
So we talked about Robinhood stock at the beginning, and we talked about Tesla stock. So another company, Square. You've been very vocal about Square. You said that you believe Square is the new JP Morgan.
Yeah.
Are you still?
Shout out everybody JP Morgan who've been texting me like, ha, what happened? Where? Not our James Pierpont. Jack is not James, right? Do I still believe that they will be the new JP Morgan? Yes. Because they really came down to the area like that 111, 112 area is why I knew we were bottom out. When I looked at the technical, shout out to Frederick, like he confirmed it. If you guys need to average down 112 to 100 is good. But you have to realize, like, and I can't say what they have coming. Like I can't. But if you can see my face, oh baby. They're just getting a team together. This is like when Jordan came back out of retirement. And now he's solely focused on Twitter was baseball for Jack. He had to stay, right? They're getting a team together, and they're getting it. Now they have a big competitor in Apple because Apple plans to take this beautiful phone that they've created and turn this into a payment processor. So they will have some competitive challenges there. But once they build this team, and you notice how quiet Jack has been, I like entrepreneurs that are quiet. CEO of Microsoft, they are quiet assassins. Please write this down. Quiet assassins. Elon, even though he is a great executive, he's a loud mercenary. A lot of time he will tell his hands. And I really think he's trying to run up the Dogecoin and meme coin prices so he can then have an exit. Because when China put the restraints on him, he will have his exit plan. Don't think like, and people have to remember, Peter Thiel, Elon, and Max all traded futures. Ray Dalio traded futures. There's a reason why I tell you to go study this market. Like, did you guys know Ray Dalio created the chicken nugget McNugget for McDonald's based off trading corn? Levels to this game. You think he's talking about, out of all the stuff Elon can talk about, you think he's picking meme coins on accident? So give Square and Jack a little bit of time. I'll say give him 6 months. And I'll have an issue saying that I'm wrong if I am. But for anyone that's using it on the business side, if you use any other payment processor in comparison, it's hell on earth to deal with. At least if your account gets flagged at Square, it's really quick. You may not get the answer that you want, but it's a little bit more smooth than PayPal. Give it a few months. They'll be smooth sailing. And then like in 3 years, I have them going to 305.57. So that'll be good.
You have it. There you have it.
We will monitor the situation with Square. Shout out to YouTube, 9,000 people on a check-in.
We get to a smooth 10. I'm gonna go crazy again. Drop that bomb for him.
I got you.
That's the flex and clue bomb. We want unity.
Little quiet storm. Little quiet storm. Little quiet storm.
Yeah.
You know how we do.
Microsoft. 8-part blueprint to Microsoft's boom this quarter.
I know you're tired of me screaming about Microsoft, but I'm not going to stop. Please put this in chat. Apple and Microsoft are the two greatest empires on this earth ever.
Let's talk about it.
So number one, Satya is probably, after Tim Cook, the greatest CEO currently in Silicon Valley. This is what I love about, and this is like, I'm gonna go to my ball players. The player that is the dopest to me is the one that can put 40 on you and he's not gonna talk to you crazy. Flex, ISO, get out the way, tween, step back, get you, 3, get you, finish, right? Satya just focuses on the mission. And I'm noticing a trend. You're gonna see this pick up a lot in the next 5-6 years. The adoption of Indian CEOs who come from humble beginnings that are very humble in nature. Because when, like, even though we have our issues in our communities and in our hoods, like if you've ever been to India, and some of those rural parts is devastating, and that never leaves you. So like to come up through the Microsoft chain and be there during some of the tougher times, his leadership style is absolutely amazing, but you rarely even hear him in interviews. That is a great sign. I want my executives to be focused on a mission and not being all the videos dancing. Number 2, best quarter ever, 124 billion, 124. So when everyone's like, yo, I like this company more, I'm like, in a quarter, they did better than that other company that you may like did all year. Revenue's up 20%, the income up 21%, LinkedIn's up 37%. LinkedIn is boring as hell. Shout out to Nick. You talked about it on the episode with you guys.
Yeah.
Azure and clouds.
Microsoft did 124.
Apple did 124.
Apple did 124.
Microsoft.
My correction.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, good.
Let me look at the
They,
number.
they did have a crazy quarter though. But
That
Yeah.
crazy quarter.
I'll run down some of the revenue while you look at that. So Azure was up 46%. It's the first time in 6 quarters that was
Yeah,
the revenue was under 50.
365 grew 45%.
Yeah, 45%. They had personal computing was up 15%. It brought in 17 billion. We already spoke about last week about gaming that brought
Activision.
the Activision purchase, but actually the subscription service inside of it, which is bringing in over 400 million a month. The Xbox hardware revenue rose by 4%. Almost every avenue of revenue increased. I think the Xbox revenue was actually the lowest at 4%.
It was up 10%.
It's like, why? You know what was interesting today? I don't know if anybody saw, but I think Wall Street Trapper posted it, but Sony actually bought Bungie. And so that's
it was a good.
Yo, here's the ill part though. You know what Bungie's #1 game is that they make?
What's that?
Halo. A game that was exclusive to Xbox. Interesting play. Well, I want to see how that pans out, because Halo, and if you ever been a gamer, you know Halo, that's always been an Xbox game. They actually are coming out with the show now. I just saw a preview for it during the games last night. That's been a staple for the Xbox gaming system. So now that Sony has bought the company that makes that, interesting to see how that plays.
Yeah.
68.7 billion. My apologies.
Still a very high number.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. And then also top enterprise software company. They haven't even put all their attention into gaming yet. Like cloud services.
Ridiculous.
Incredible. Man, one of the most dominant companies ever. And then think about how much like Microsoft would be probably 2 times as big as Apple if they would have had a better executive for that 10-year stretch. The Obama was there. They gave, and this is a great lesson. I don't like the 48 laws of power, but that lesson in a book about you have to kill your competition while they're down and dead, man, that's true. If they would have picked a better successor and they wouldn't have had all the infighting between Ballmer and Gates, there would have been no room for Apple.
Destroy completely. You kill an ant with a sledgehammer.
Absolutely. No rooms. No room.
50 Cent. You ever read the 50th Law of Power?
I did.
Great book on the law.
I
People slept on that book.
You actually have the hard copy.
I got the audio book.
Oh.
Very, very, very good book. Very good book. Very good book. Okay. So let's talk about this. Shout out to Odell Beckham. Shout out to the Rams for going to the Super Bowl. Shout out to my guy Jesse.
Oh, Jesse Bates, the third. My dog.
He actually made the game-winning play. So it's crazy how life works. So we actually, Chris Coy, it was like episode 15, 14, something like that. It was early.
20, maybe 20.
It was early. Chris Coy, NFL agent. He was the first NFL agent that we had on. And we had him on the podcast. Dope episode. Shout out to Chris. So then he invited me and Troy to DC a few years ago to speak to his players. He had like an all-day symposium for his players, for his clients. And me, Troy, and my son went to DC, and we spent the day with his clients, like 10 of his clients. And we went to a baseball game, chopped it up, and kept in touch with a lot of them since then. And one of them was Jesse Bates. And Jesse was actually a rookie. He was a rookie. Jesse was a rookie at the time that we met him. Now I believe he's a captain. He's a captain of the defense. And he actually, if you watch that play, he's the one that actually batted it down.
For the interception.
So for the interception, which was a game-winning play right there. So he's going to Super Bowl. So long story short, shout out to Jesse. Very proud of him. It's dope to see that, because I've actually been in communications with him. Like every now and then, like, you know, he hit me up, like, you know, what's going on, tapping in. So yeah, that was dope. I'm proud of him. And Zach. Zach's my guy too. He used to play for Denver Broncos, and he's on Bengals now.
Yeah,
so
and Bradshaw, the Giants quarterback,
yes.
Pro Bowler.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm talking about guys going to the NFL.
Oh yeah,
to the Super Bowl.
Bowl.
But long story short, shout out to all my NFL players out there, and shout out to everybody that's going to the Super Bowl. But the talk of the town has been Odell Beckham, and of course his contract. Now I want to preference this because a good friend of ours is an NFL agent. Shout out to Greg Barnett, and I asked him, I'm like, explain to me, because I think that there's more to this story, but it's still a good learning experience. But
it's a great learning lesson. Yeah, I saw somebody in Zoom said you guys are losing me with the sports talk.
This is a financial lesson.
Correlation.
Yeah.
It's a little segue. And also, too, I want to address Sammy, my brother. I'm not here for the camera and the lights. If you really know me in real life, which you don't, I prefer not to even be seen for commentary like that. I don't have on a leather jacket or pineapple juice, so I'm not in a bad vibe. I will ask you kindly, please go Google Ian Dunlap reveals the hidden secret of investing. Rolling out, I did 3 or 4 years. Go to my Facebook, I was posting this in 2010. And then you can ask anybody who's black, brown, whatever color, if they was talking about this in 2009 or 10. I'm sorry I haven't done a great enough job for you to know me better, but I'm not here for the lights and cameras. But if you think I look good on them, thank you. But no, I'm not here for that reason. But let me do something to help you. Sammy, put the 5 stocks that you want to know about, and I'll tell you the price to get in.
Love it. Love it. Love it. No, it's a financial lesson. This is a financial lesson.
Financial lesson, but the good thing with having a platform is that you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. So if we want to talk about sports, we're able to talk about sports. And if you don't want to listen to it, then you don't have to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Please do not allow any level of negativity into the fortress.
Or we can straight block. No, listen, Sammy, I told everybody, listen, okay. And I'm going to be calm. Can we have an honest conversation real quick as a sidebar? Everyone is selling you guys on communicating with each other because they don't know how to invest and don't know how to make money. So I know, man, it's the biggest violation ever that I don't respond to every email. I put it today. Listen, I want my first conversations to be with my mom, dad, and kid, because I know if I go today, you won't send Xander anything. Great. So the people that email you back quickly, they're emailing you back because they're taking your subscription money and going to mess it off because they really can't invest in the craft. So I'm sorry, it may cost a house. And great. When it was $297, when we first put it out, and it was $297 annual. Shout out to everybody in Stock Club who got it in the first time and killed it. Come on, man. We're not gonna do this. And plus, that for the Ian's not for the culture, EYL's not for the culture. That don't work no more, baby. We cool with everybody who run the culture.
And culture, I don't even believe in culture. There is no culture. You can't, nobody can talk to me about culture. You can't. Stop. That culture is so overused and overrated, and it just goes in so many different directions. I'm cool off the culture talk because what does that even mean? That's a whole different I got to bring 19 keys in.
Y'all saw what happened. Yeah, shout out 19 keys, shout out Trap. I saw what happened when we squad over Christmas.
Yeah, no, I don't buy into the culture.
If I go 0 dark 30, what happened?
Kanye.
Leash has been earned. Shout out Kanye.
Shout out to Kanye, man. All right.
Tell him.
Better? It wasn't perfect.
Hey, and they ain't got
crazy.
the answers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How?
They have you.
And also, as a business lesson, when you charge a premium price, sometimes it's to alleviate some of the headaches. I really wish I could have kept it at $297. Everybody who was in Stock Club 2019, 2020, that's been loyal Red Panda family members, they've been telling me, yo, keep the knuckleheads out. And here's the crazy part. Y'all asked for the scholarship. And Stock Club, put yes. He ain't lying in chat. I do more on Market Mondays to educate than I do in Stock Club. But guess what? In Red Panda, they actually buy the damn stocks. They're not here for entertainment. Everybody in Red Panda here to get rich. Here to get well. Shout out to those of you that's up 5-6 million. Let's stop the debating. Media, gossip, right? That is inflicted in our culture. You notice there is really no white gossip. There's no Indian shade room. There's no Asian Hollywood Unlocked. Shout out to Jason Lee for a reason.
Jason Lee.
Gossip is a cancer to us from executing. And I'm gonna be real, because all the people that y'all meet and be cool, like, yo, it's a celebrity. You're like, yo, you want to be seen and hang with celeb? Like, they coming to me asking me for help. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. My friends are celebrities to me. I ain't changed one bit. Not one bit. Get off my bumper.
Ask me what Callie said. Ask me if I changed.
You changed?
A lot.
A whole lot.
Dave, I can't wait to get to New York and have his hedge fund.
Kidding me?
Wrap this shit
up.
Okay.
Stay the same. You kidding me?
Okay.
Nah.
Frederick, call me after this too.
You played.
We'll get right to that too. Great.
A whole lot.
Shout out to Callie.
Shout out to everybody at Citadel. Call me. I'm ready.
Let's talk about this Bitcoin situation.
Just the entertainment part, UTA.
Back to the regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, let's talk about it, man. Let's do it.
I'm trying to get these numbers up to 10,000 on the low. That's why.
And the last thing I'm gonna say about this culture thing is that you got to understand, you would pay to go to college. Even college is not every day. College, you have 2 classes a week, maybe 1 class a week for 6 weeks, and then you go on 4 weeks vacation, and then you come back for 6 weeks, and then you go on 4 months vacation. Market Mondays is free every single week, but Earn Your Leisure is open 24 hours. We don't take a day off. We never miss a day for free. We never missed a day.
It's 88 inches of snow, and Shotty had to drive 19 blocks to get to Troy House.
Yo, we never missed
He
a
coulda-
day in 3 years. Some point you got to have some level of.
No days off. You kidding me?
All right, back to this Bitcoin conversation.
Let's talk about it, man. Let's do
Odell
it, man.
Beckham got a portion of his contract in Bitcoin, $750,000.
Language. He did the entire. So we get there. Yeah.
No, well, his contract is also incentive.
That's true.
Incentive laden. So he got the base contract of 750,000 in Bitcoin.
Yes.
But it also has incentives
right.
all over it.
Certain, like he had certain amount of catches.
Yeah, it's a lot
yards,
of
touchdowns, all that type of stuff. Yep.
The first question is, why does he have a base contract for 750,000? That's crazy.
Because he got traded mid-season. So what the Browns were paying him, they obviously we know
how much was the Browns paying him?
He was because he went to the Browns with the $90 million contract from the Giants. And so they were paying him at a premium, but we know that in football nothing's guaranteed, so they released him.
If you have a base contract and you get traded halfway through the year, I mean, what the most he had was $2 million. That was base.
Probably he did the veteran minimum.
But why?
Why'd he do it?
Why?
Here's the answer. What is the price of freedom and winning?
Well,
you can get $3 million on a loser, and things not going well.
They released him.
Yeah.
So he had to
probably
sign veterans. Him and Von Miller did the same thing.
Yeah. Bitcoin. Well, long story short, when he got Bitcoin, it was $60,000. I'm not sure if he got the whole thing up front or if he's getting paid bi-weekly. That's another interesting part, because if he's getting paid bi-weekly, this is the thing. Nobody actually knows how he's actually. There hasn't been one.
They don't know the structure. Yeah.
There hasn't been one NFL insider that's actually been able to break this down. But just for the conversation of Bitcoin, $60,000 and now it is at $37,000. Extremely volatile asset. When we talk about cryptocurrency, cryptocurrency is extremely volatile, way more volatile than stocks. And Bitcoin has always been a very volatile asset class. So this brings up a bigger thought process as far as like business owners getting paid in cryptocurrency, people accepting cryptocurrency as salary, people accepting cryptocurrency as bonuses, getting paid for endorsement deals in cryptocurrency. So what does this actually say about that?
Politicians too, like our mayor.
Yeah, he's another one. He took Eric Adams. Wow, still haven't gotten a meeting. He took Bitcoin at its high.
He's doing a lot wrong at the moment. Let's let him clear that out.
He's actually doing everything wrong. He's bringing stop and frisk back. We'll talk about that later on. So Bitcoin. How do we feel about Bitcoin's current price? And is it a good idea to ever take any type of payment in cryptocurrency, being that it's so volatile?
The thing that I want you guys to look at from a branding perspective, and even like the little rant that I did was in you guys understand, like for those who get marketing, you need ebbs and flows. So when things are down, you take a particular point, right? Rile the crowd up, rally your base. Odell is very smart. Like the way his team put his looks together, the way he's been able to get PR, and also factoring like what his net worth is. If you're a player that's a rookie, or let's say you're making less than $5 million a year, I wouldn't do it. Odell is good. And the thing, and I want to give full credit. I heard it on Joe's podcast, and him and Ice and Ish was talking about it. Shout out to them, Ian Corey. And Dan Rovell is one of the greatest reporters to ever grace CNBC or sports reporting ever. Yeah. So it's not like him just reaching for a story. It is rather interesting. And if you are following Darren Rovell, please do, because he has some interesting takes and research on how he does the stories. But at the stage of where Odell is, he's 28, net worth maybe somewhere, I'm assuming between $30 to $40 million. Him taking 715 Bitcoin, not going to hurt the kid at all.
I think that's the key. Ian. I think that's the key right there, right? So if it is your sole source of income, probably not the best thing to do. If it's additional income that you've on the side of what you've already accumulated, like you said, his net worth, right? I'm sure Eric has a net worth of a certain amount, and then making that type of decision, right? Because he's not the only one in that position.
Can we put this in context real quick?
Yeah.
If he got 750,000 in Bitcoin, his net worth is 30 million. That's 2% of his overall net worth.
But also, I'm glad. Shout out to my man Marvin from UTA. I actually was gonna say it. I forgot to say it, but he actually reminded me. Cash App is giving people endorsement deals.
That's
to do
what
this.
I was going to.
So
Mhm.
it's very possible that Cash App gave him $1 million, 7 figures, to actually
Yeah,
take.
somebody on YouTube said 1.2.
Yeah. So
that's what
don't follow.
yeah.
Don't just blindly follow rappers or athletes without knowing the full story.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, oh, well, Odell Beckham got paid in Bitcoin.
I could do it.
I'm just going to get paid in
Yeah.
Bitcoin. But you don't know that there's more to that.
I was just going to say that because that's exactly what Aaron Rodgers did, right? Like everybody's talking about Odell, but Aaron Rodgers did the same exact thing. But he took a portion of it and he received all of it through Cash App. So there was a deal with Cash App. Klay Thompson just did it. Andre Iguodala has done it. Shohei Ohtani, who was the MVP of the American League.
Yeah, Cash App is going crazy right now. With
So when you were talking
Stallion.
everybody, so like they're making these deals because they obviously have you can sell crypto and buy and sell crypto there. So these type of deals that you don't know about are what's actually where the money's going, right? If I'm getting $1 million to take it, that's $1 million up front.
Yeah, so it's always more to the story than what's on social media or people just.
I mean, it's a great headline. Salacious, got a lot of people talking. I mean, Khadijah put it in YouTube. Like, he'd probably clear 1.5 off modeling alone. Like always, and I know people clown you for being conservative, but like, I mean, I always tell you guys, you want to risk one to make 11. So if those first 3 shots don't go in, you're good. So if crypto goes to 0, it's not going to affect his life one bit. Now here's the gem. If you are looking to take assets or take crypto as a payment, you need to tie that buying cycle in with your customer base to what the real institutional levels are. Hopefully we'll get Mike Novogratz to come back on. But 28 and 21,000, which I called last year. I know people think I just pull numbers out of my ass. And I know Bam did for a minute too, and I earned, I trusted Bam. But and here's the thing, when you guys are looking, even on CNBC, Bloomberg, Real Vision, you want to see where the institutions are buying or where the heaviest positions are. If you can crack the code to find out where that is, that's when you want to start to layer your bets. Go back and look at the Novogratz episode, and when I called a price, look at his reaction. A lot of this is poker, because a person will tell you something in public because they can't, like, even when people like, these are the 7 secrets to starting $1 million business. They won't do any of those 7. They can't tell you the real 80 things that they did. But look at their body language. You'll be able to tell for most investors if that's the real area that they're looking to get in, and you'll be good and you can piggyback off that.
And then, Cash App is going crazy with all these endorsement deals. And who owns Cash App?
That company we spoke about earlier.
Jack is one of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time too. You can't bet against him. This is a long-term game.
Yeah.
It is a long-term game.
Yeah, really quick. It is the 9 o'clock hour. So I'm just going to give you our earnings, big earnings week. Obviously, last week we had Microsoft, we had Apple. Tomorrow we got AMD. We speak about the semiconductors all the time. AMD, obviously, I know I am long on AMD. PayPal will be reporting. Google, one of my dear lessons that I had to learn in 2021 was, why am I sleeping on Google? Starbucks will be reporting as well. MicroStrategies as well on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we have Meta reporting, Qualcomm, another semi, Thermo Fisher. Shout out to everybody that was in Thermo Fisher. Spotify, which was in the news all crazy today with Mr. Rogan apologizing for some of his statements.
About what?
So a lot of people were pulling their music off. So
The vaccine?
Yeah.
About the vaccine talk. But if you actually listen to Rogan's podcast, that's like 2 episodes out of 300.
But the issue was that
what he said,
artists were taking their music off the platform because they were like, there's no censorship. And so when you had, I think, Neil Diamond and somebody else, they pulled it off. And
my thing
Spotify was like, all right,
we're
going to stick by Joe because we've invested in him. And he ended up apologizing for some of the statements he
made. These people crazy as hell. Why you going to take your music off of Spotify because he's talking about a vaccine? And okay, you saying that's false information. You got people talking about drugs, killing people, kidnapping people, and you never thought to take your music off of Spotify for that. They greenlit all of that information.
I'm just a messenger.
That's a fact.
Just a messenger, bro. Like,
I'm just saying, like, that's
you.
That's you going.
Yeah,
and I'll ask everyone this: when Neil Young took his money, took his catalog off Spotify, what was his most recent deal worth?
With Spotify?
Just what he sold his catalog for recently.
Oh yeah. That's a wave right
That
now.
was like me. Like if I go to Goldman and we do a deal and they give me 300, I'm like, yo, I'm going to go my content of YouTube. Like, okay, I feel you, but it's not gonna move the needle. And I hate that we are in a place in terms of our country that we cannot have dialogue with people that we don't agree with. Like, if he took the horse dewormer or whatever he took, like, okay, great. He has the right to, it wasn't illegal. And then also, we know everything that Fauci said was not above board. And if you look at the vaccines, it's actually a gene therapy. It's not technically a vaccine. I didn't pass my MCAT, so I'm playing a doctor on YouTube. Shout out to all my real doctors and CRNAs and, anesthesiology. Y'all are amazing. I couldn't pass MCAT. That should snatch my soul. But it's really a gene therapy. It's not a vaccine. So we are in a very suspicious gray area, and they had to counteract what was going on. But please be mindful, man. Like, when we are more focused on what people are saying opposed to outcome, we're in a very dangerous place. Please be careful.
All right, Thursday. So that's Wednesday. Thursday, we got Amazon. Amazon was reporting their earnings. They're estimating. You ready for this? $140 billion quarter. $140 billion.
For who? Amazon?
Amazon. Yeah. Ford is going to be reporting. Snap, which has pulled back tremendously, it will be reporting. Fortinet will be reporting, and Eli Lilly will be reporting as well, and Honeywell. Some of the companies.
Shout out Lilly. I have a bunch of friends through IU in Indianapolis. That's why I never talked about it publicly during COVID. But Lilly's one of the greatest pharma companies ever.
Big week.
Shout out to Kyrie Irving. Good to see him back on the court.
Big facts.
Who's killing that?
9,500 people on YouTube. Hit the like button.
Let's do it.
Let's get some. But before we get to question, one last thing.
Yeah.
4 reasons last week that you said to only take 4 swing trades and 4 day trades. And
I saw some.
That's a year or a month?
In a year.
4 swing trades and 4 day trades in a. Can you just explain the different, like, what's a swing trade for anybody that's new?
Swing trade, I would define anything that is from 30 days to 180 days for like simple terms. So it's not quite an investment. It's not quite a day trade. It's like in the middle. Because I was seeing some commentary of people being like, well, maybe if you have a bigger account, you can do that. Even if you have a small account, I still want you to do that until we understand what the Fed is going to do. We don't know what the actual tapering cycle is going to be. Powell has managed as well as he could. I think he's done, and maybe sacrilegious for some people that study the Fed, but I think he's done a better job than Alan Greenspan. But he's in a very precarious situation or predicament. So we don't know what the cycle is. So when you don't know what those big macro things, please write this down if you're first time listening or you need to be reminded. I've told you before, 2020, inverted yield curve, most important indicator. Number 2, quantitative easing. The technicals don't mean anything. Technically, like, because technicals are not a concrete floor or a concrete ceiling. It is what the Fed does and the monetary policy that they put forward that determines everything. So if you don't know what the monetary policy is going to be, how much they're going to raise interest rates, you can't take 20 trades. Last year was easy because it was just a free-for-all. I always go back to that steroids analogy. Man, it was easy to get 50 home runs and everybody passed up King Griffey. Now we get to see who can really trade, who can really invest. What is your edge? Fewer shots. For all my hoopers, if I gave you 8 shots in a game, 4 threes and 4 15-footers, how good are you going to do? When people get into trouble, and we've seen, and Kathy is one of the greatest investors of our era. Arguably, you guys can go play the tape. I told you before everyone she was going to get attacked. Yes or no, right? You can see that active trading and rotational trading and taking hundreds of trades doesn't work at scale with her fund. Not picking on her. Mm-hmm. But when you actively are entering new positions, so think of it like this. If you have, I'd rather have 4 big, huge ships to fight the battle for me opposed to 80 speedboats. Every time she puts on a new position, it immediately can be attacked. So in that way, you're never able to get momentum. If you build a base in a great company, Apple, Microsoft, AMD, NVIDIA, Square. You guys should have been looking at Ally, not because they're sponsored, because I don't.
But the thing is not to just say that, but I was actually thinking about this today with Ally. Ally
They're
is
sleeping on Ally.
they're interesting for a few different reasons. They're very innovative, but I'm gonna say this. I'm not joking when I say this. I'm actually being serious about this. You really have to you have to look at a company serious that has the foresight and vision to invest in programs like Market Mondays and people like Earn Your Leisure, because that lets me know that they're forward thinking, they're progressive, and they have a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I'm not tooting our own horn, but I'm serious. I thought about this today. I'm like, they're first to market to really show us love on a big platform.
Let's be real. That was first to online banking, really.
Yeah,
it was like them and ING Direct.
Mm-hmm.
Says a lot. It says a lot about them.
And when we meet, I mean, we've been fortunate enough to meet some of the execs. Like everybody's on that same wave of innovation and seeing what's next and how to reach audiences that never been reached. So shout out to them.
I mean, because in my brain, it was a no-brainer. I don't know why every financial company hasn't embraced EYL. I mean, why? I'm finding it hard to understand why. And a lot of them are. Shout out to Chase. We establishing relationships with people. But I'm just saying, I would have thought that it would happen a lot earlier with every single financial institution. It was kind of mind-boggling that it took so long. So I say that to say they have to have their ear to the street, and they have to actually have some level of vision of what's actually currently happening and not what has already happened in the past for them to embrace programs like this. So, yeah.
Ian, real quick, I know you brought up Kathy and you talked about inverted indexes. Did you see this inverted ETF? So
to short her fund?
Short her fund, yeah. So it's called Tuttle Capital. The actual ticker is SARK. And so people have invested on that based on the performance of ARK going down. And so it's inverse, right? So when ARK goes down, this fund goes up. It's
I need to get that.
I don't do
Shout out to ARK. Shout out to the ARK fund.
Yeah, we gonna just keep beating it out. Yeah, but it's interesting. So it's like they created a fund pretty much inverted of whatever the performance of ARK. Crazy.
They're gonna do a ARK.
It's a well time. Like once and for those Stock Club, remember like last year, I was sending all these videos about Peter Lynch, right? And one of the things that he kept saying, it's hard to be a media darling and an excellent stock picker because the jealousy that comes with it. You have to realize too, like the thing that she did, and I was talking about this Saturday, like her strategy was Tesla heavy. For those of you who don't know, please go Google when she was on CNBC saying Tesla's gonna go to 3,000, and they damn near laughed her out the room. And Bitcoin was in our strategy, and then everyone copied it. That's why I tell you, this is a prime example why I tell you guys, please write this down. All my entrepreneurs and creatives, once you get a competitive edge in the market, keep your secrets to yourself. Keep them to yourself. Because if you share them publicly, they're going to take your head off with your own strategy.
The same sword they knight you with, they going
good night you with.
That's
only they like you. See, we in tandem. It's with the Zoom delay. Wait till we get in person. Don't believe me? Ask Michael. The greatest verse of all time, in my opinion.
Caesar,
see Caesar, see Brutus,
see
Jesus, see Judas.
See, success
is like a suicide.
Suicide. It's a suicide. If you reach that success, prepare to be crucified.
If you want to be successful, prepare to be crucified.
And that's why the greats, like Michael Jackson, Floyd Mayweather, get quiet. Told you, I probably shouldn't even brought up Jim, but when I brought up Jim from greatest hedge fund ever, man, Forrest doesn't even talk to his employees.
Time out. Raheem Jenkins.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
What you mean? What song is that, man? That's a corporate takeover freestyle, Jay-Z, man. Don't do that. Congratulations, Raheem. We still love you, bro.
Google.
Greatest freestyle ever.
Google.
Easily.
Arguably.
Nah, we're not even arguing. Easily.
Shout out to Hov, man.
Grammy Family Freestyle. Go check it out.
Jay-Z, man. A legend in the game. Let's take some questions if we can. Janet.
Jan's got a plan.
Hey, guys.
How are you? You glowing.
Am I?
Yeah.
Happy Monday, everyone.
What's the deal, Jan?
Wait.
We got an update on what's the update? Tell us what's going on. What's the update?
I have many updates this week. I'm just sticking to the plan, studying, Just,
A couple people in Red Panda said they want you to quit sharing your updates so you can glow and grow faster. So I want to just put that out there because I know they're about to text me.
sharing my updates.
Not all of them, and I get because the other part that comes with it, the envy, and even personal. I don't want nobody coming after you for that.
It's all right. I'm covered.
Yeah, I got you. I got you too.
I'm gonna keep silent.
Living my life like it's gold.
But thank you. I appreciate that, Ian. I mean, one of the updates I guess I can give is that we finished charting and technical analysis as a community. That book is so amazing. I really, really love it. And I'm more of a long-term set it and forget it type of person, but this book actually gave me a lot of confidence. So I'm really excited, and we'll be paper trading as well as earners all together. So it's good. I feel really good about that. I mean, again, I feel like I'm in study mode in a lot of different areas in my life, and it's great. I feel like I'm growing. I started off the year that way, and we're growing together as a community.
Shout out to G and shout out to Lawrence. They put on a sermon yesterday.
Oh my God. Book club was incredible. Drop some fire in the chat here in Zoom if you guys.
Shout out to the book club.
Yeah, it was so motivating. It was beautiful. And we talked about not only investing, but how to not care what other people are doing. Make sure you don't have an expensive car, living beneath your means, really building a community and your family. It was so good. We all got to share and connect. You know how, we did the whole kumbaya thing. Troy started that. So you know how that.
Jen B, I appreciate you. Put your Cash App in YouTube, please. I'm going to cut you off, Queen. Well, I saw somebody from my home county, so I got excited. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's go to Q first for our first question. Troy kind of stole her thunder, but she has another question. She's going to ask about SARK.
Oh, okay.
But it's all right. She got something else. So we're going to go ahead.
For those of you asking about USO in the comments, don't do it. Please don't do it.
Where is she? We have so many hands raised right now. One moment.
It's a good trade, not a good long-term investment.
There she is. All right, Q, unmute yourself, please.
No problem. Thanks, Janet. Much love to you. I hope y'all can hear me. I first need to give a shout out to all three of you young kings. We appreciate you. No matter what people is doing, I need y'all to know that. And we praying for y'all. Some of us are. So,
that
Troy,
means the world to me. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
For real. Troy, you did steal my thunder, but it's all cool because we
I apologize. Go ahead. I'm just asking. That's just asking.
Moving on. I'll just move on because y'all talked about it. That's all I wanted to know. But what did y'all think about Reed Hastings dumping that $20 million into Netflix, to buy that stock? Was that a good move? Was that to help? Was that just to show loyalty? What's your feedback regarding that?
Troy, you want to go first since she called on you, and then we can run the round table.
She said the investment in Netflix. Like I said earlier, Netflix is number one in that space. There's a lot of pressure, obviously, on them from Disney. They just announced that they're going to be expanding the Disney Plus platform for 42 new countries. So, like I said, Netflix long term, I love whether it's somebody investing in it or not. I'm sometimes when Ian's like, yo, don't pay attention to the news, focus on what you know. We know that's a strong company. We know that its content is addictive. We know that people will subscribe and stay there and forget that they had the subscription. I feel like they were the originators of the subscription service that you just kind of forget that you keep paying. And so, yeah, I'm long term on it. Another one of my 1,000 share club tickers. Yeah.
Mark Cuban did say that he's only invested in 2 stocks, what he told us. And one of the 2 stocks was Netflix.
Yeah.
He said that last year. So obviously he's a billionaire. So I think Netflix has challenges though.
Definitely.
Yeah. Challenges, and they have a difficult road ahead, but they are first to market, which always helps. I think they'll be okay, but
I think one of the big players in this is, and there's a great article in The Verge about streaming in Africa. I think whoever, and I know that, like I said, Disney is coming into some of these countries in Africa. Whoever can figure out how to get their service to be number one in these spaces where the population is increasing. And I know that you and Keys were talking about population growth the other night. So when you have a continent that has population growth that is young, if you can get your content to these people who have devices, right, mobile devices, and that's not necessarily TVs, and can consume that content, I think they're going to be, whoever that is. And it might be an African tech streaming service right now that's doing it. but whoever can do it is going to be well ahead of this.
Let me just say one thing about Africa real quick.
Yeah,
I spoke about it with Keys.
Yep.
Africa is the key to everything going forward.
That's why China wants to take it over.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why everybody always wanted to take over Africa. But that's a different story for a different day. But Africa is the key, and most continents have negative birth rates. Like Europe has a negative birth rate, Asia has a negative birth rate, meaning that there's not enough babies being born relative to people that's dying. Their population is going down. Africa is the exact opposite. Africa's birth rate is crazy, skyrocketing. 80%, like 70%, 80% of the continent is under 25 years old. When we went to Nigeria, Nigeria is the most populated Black country in the world with 220 million Black people, and 80% of the population is under 21, and 90% of that population is under 18. So the opportunities in Africa is endless for a variety of different reasons, and the infrastructure is still not really in place. When we found out like the number one podcast in West Africa only had like 40,000 Instagram followers. That's in whole West Africa, not just in Nigeria. That let me know that podcasting is still in the beginning stages in Africa. So that's why like you see some people saying like they're the top podcaster. It's never really been our goal to be a top podcaster. Like we're building a media company, media empire. So that's why we went to Africa, and we're going back to Africa, and a lot of focus will be in Africa for us. So I say that to say Netflix, they should definitely focus on Africa, but every company should focus on Africa, because Africa is going to be tremendous to the world in the next 30, 50 years.
So somebody's asking like, what are some of the struggles that they'll face? Well, Netflix, obviously we know for a while they didn't have to produce original content, right? Even though that they have it, they can rely on other people's content. And so you saw The Office, which was the number one show that was streamed on Netflix. Well, Peacock said that we want it back. The licensing deal was up. Same thing with anything that came from Fox, which is now Fox Searchlight, which is now owned under the Disney platform. And so they're losing content that all the Disney movies are now off the platform. So they're losing content, and they have to make original content. The problem is when you make original content, let's give an example, Ozark, it came out last week. After you've consumed it and you've watched the entire series, now you have to wait. And well, that show is over, but you would have to wait traditionally another year and a half. While people are not watching your platform, they're going to be consuming something else. And so to continuously try to make original content over and over and over becomes, number one, expensive, right, to do, but it becomes tedious because you're always playing catch up, right? Whereas Disney, they can put on Mickey Mouse from 1997, kids are still going to watch it. They can put on The Jungle, but people are going to watch it. It doesn't matter. They've had a cooked in audience the same way that YouTube does, right? The number one audience is going to be children. And so Disney has that because they have children. Children are always being made, right? What do parents do? They show them cartoon movies. They become fixated with characters, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and then, hey, now I have to go to Disney World. So they have like a great platform and a great revenue source from those aspects. So those are some of the struggles that Netflix will face. How they will combat it, we'll see.
I mean, it's the difference between, shameless plug, an asset and a liability. If you are leasing content, that's something that you do not own. The capital outlay I don't like, but please write this down. If you guys want a super gem, please write this down. No investor is going to put money into not that kind of money as a show of favoritism or loyalty to a company. What I want everyone to do is take the 10 biggest people that have laid out 20 to 100 million and put money in recently, go mark off the time in which they invested, go look at the average price and see what percentage drop that was from the all-time high. Reed Hastings, another person, commodities trader at one point. Tristan Walker from Bevel, one of the best crude futures traders there was before he went to the Valley.
Yeah.
So all of these people that run these companies, if I can tell you one, it's a numbers game. That's what like Matt, Kiana get, like people in real estate get it. Because if a house is worth 100,000, there's only a certain price that you can pay for it before you can be in profit. It's not emotions. It's like comps. Can I build equity into it, as my dad would say? Is there a buyer's market for it, or is there a seller's market? It's very logic-based. The stock market, they get our emotions riled up because they need liquidity. One of my favorite quotes from Josh Brown is like, you don't have to promote something that's good. Like, you don't have to make the case. Like, let's be real. Tesla without Elon, souped up souped up Lexus. Doesn't have the same cachet. Same with the Jordan. If Jordan had won all those titles, they wouldn't have the same impact. So like it's in a great place in time. Netflix, good business, ton of competition. The big thing that is saving them, I don't want to go too deep, but like for those of you in the hedge fund space or the institutional space, shout out to you, Dave, you, Pat Lewis, I appreciate you. Look at their capital outlays versus what the churn rate of Disney and all their other competition. So yeah, they got to pay a lot. But how long people actually stand with Disney Plus and HBO Max and every other competitor? Most subscription monthly based businesses churn from 5 to 9% a month. So by the time you get to month 10, most of your base is gone anyway. That's why charging monthly is not a good business model.
That was the last thing I was going to say on Netflix. If you want to dive into the research of it, go see the level of investment from institutional investors versus retail. And it'll tell you a lot why people like believe in Netflix, right? Go look at the percentage of how much of the allocation is based on institutional investment.
But the CEO, I think the original question was the CEO investing in the company. It's always good to have, confidence from leadership. But yeah, I just think in general, I don't think Netflix is going to go anywhere, but it still has some challenges.
But it's all a pricing game. Go look at what price he bought, what day did he buy.
Well,
that will tell you a lot.
That was key. He waited for a tremendous drop in the stock price, which is smart. And then he purchased it. We'll see when he sells it. That'll be key too. I knew Litecoin was in trouble when Charlie Lee. So I'll never forget that. This is
let it go.
This is a very valuable lesson. In 2017, Litecoin got to 100.
317.
317. Well, he said no, he said something. He said if Litecoin, if it ever gets 250, he said it should never get past 250, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but he said something to the effect that Litecoin price should never get past $250. In no world ever in life should it ever get to that point. And then it got to 300 and he sold $1 billion or something like that. He sold like $2 billion worth of Litecoin. And everybody proceeded to buy Litecoin, and then Litecoin proceeded to crash.
Thanks, Charlie.
When your founder sells 90% of their holdings, that means that you guys don't know what you're doing, and you're running this up. It's time to exit.
Hold the bag.
It's been real.
That's
one of the most legendary moves.
Somebody gonna call that bag.
Charlie Lee's Litecoin situation is one of the most legendary situations of all time. Because he said it. He literally said it. He's on record as saying.
He tweeted it.
Yeah. He sold 90% of his Litecoins, and it proceeded to crash.
I mean, it's the same with Elon. What was that last year when it was like it's stock value?
But he's true. But yeah, that was different though. I don't think Elon. He's still buying Tesla. Charlie, left the country. He's probably on an island somewhere.
Where is Charlie Lee?
Where is Charlie Lee? Question of the night. All right, let's get 2 more questions if we can.
His leisure's been earned.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Charlie Lee.
I'm out of here.
He's
the purpose of building a business or collecting assets is to sell them so you can be free. Not so you can keep working.
To freedom. Catch me in the Maldives.
Yeah, we need Charlie Lee on the show.
All right, Andrea, unmute yourself, please.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Have a quick question. So I recently was laid off from my job. So I want to know what is the best move to make with my 401k?
Roll it over into an IRA. So you can roll. We talked about this on the financial planning call a few times, but after you leave a job, the best thing to do with an old 401k is to roll it over into an IRA. And the reason being is that when you're no longer working, the 401k is kind of frozen, not frozen where it's not growing. It's still growing to however the relative the investments are doing, but frozen as you can't add money to it. You can't like pick and choose how you want to invest. You can only invest in what's provided for you by the 401k. Obviously you can't add money, so there's no match. And legally, you can't even really get advice on it. Like if you call and try to get advice over the phone, they're not going to give you advice. They can like tell you like, okay, we can sell it for you. We can do this, but you gotta tell them. So with the IRA, the benefit with the IRA and IRA rollover is that there's no taxes that's paid on the rollover. You get to pick and choose your investments, how you want to invest. If you're with an advisor, then you get to have some level of advice on it, and you get to add to it over the course of time too. So like, let's say you wanted to start a business, and now you have an old 401k and you move it to an IRA. Now you can add money, $6,000 a year into your IRA and keep your retirement going, even though you're not working at a company anymore. So, I mean, everybody's situation is different, but that's usually, the best thing to do with an old 401k is to roll it over.
Okay, thank you.
To an IRA. BalalGroupLLC.com. Still have the financial. I still actually have the.
By the way,
taking clients.
By the way,
yeah. We got a satellite. My
Okay,
sister,
smart, yeah.
they still work the business. So I'm not actually on the day-to-day trenches, but Nipsey Hussle passed away, but the Marathon store is still up and running. So
yeah,
that's one thing about starting a business. It's about, you don't necessarily have to be there for the business to be up and running. So,
which brings us to a great point. Would you mind sharing over the last 3 years, what are the 3 biggest mistakes that we've all made in our business to help our lovely fellow pandas and earners?
Biggest mistakes in business? Sheesh. Yeah, think about that. What's some of yours?
Not eliminating access to me personally fast enough and putting the levers in place to overload the automation of content to offset it. Number 2, number 2, I would honestly have to say giving vendors too many chances. So like I talked about this with Wayno, but I'm like, yo, like when you come from a situation in which you feel like people don't look out for you, it triggers a trauma response to then help others the way you wish you were helped to people who were not deserving, and you can give your way into poverty. So there are vendors who would message me and be like, hey, I mean, I'm going through it right now with a PR person. And I'm like, I appreciate the work that you've done, but like every great placement I got was without you. Like, don't milk me because you think, So selection of vendors, and then on a personal level, not going for bigger wins and playing bigger from the very beginning. So some of the conversations that I'm having now, like with some of the people in the hedge fund space, they're like, with your talent, your call, like to hear what it's worth is mesmerizing, and there's still like inner work, shadow work that I'm doing to fully actualize that and realize that. So, and that's one of the things I always say about you, Shadi. Like, you would get an idea Tuesday, what would be Tuesday afternoon? I'm like, damn, you did this already? Damn, like I'll like here go the layers. Like, nah, listen, Apple gotta have a competitor. I bought BlackBerry. I'm like, shit. Okay, like
success loves speed.
Right.
Absolutely, that's one of the best quotes. And the more you do that, and the more you stay on top of it, cool. And then if I can go even more personal, while being respectful, being incredibly selective of the personal relationships that I'm in while building business. That is the number one decider for how well someone is going to do or not. So, and also too, on a personal level, like if you elevate more once a person or a group of people isn't in your life, it's a good telltale sign, especially for women. Because I get a lot of you messaging me like, hey, my husband isn't supportive, my man isn't supportive, and y'all take a little break and shit goes really well. It's your sign from God. Like if they really love you and support you, they want to see you thrive.
Call God.
Call God.
That's the first person you should call.
I don't know if we have mistakes. I'll tell you some of the lessons. I know one for sure. And that's making sure that people are put in positions that they have strengths in. Mm-hmm. And that's something I don't know if it's a mistake, but it's more of a lesson, right? Like you want to help everybody, but everybody's not great at everything. And so understanding people's strengths and trying to put them in positions where they can maximize those strengths. Because if they don't, it's going to be detrimental to anything you're trying to do inside the business. So that's one. And then I guess we're so used to doing like everything ourselves, learning how
a lot of BS too.
Because it's just more streamlined, right? Like I know the expectation that he has of me, he knows the expectation I have of him, and Mike, same thing. And so
shout out to Mike on the studio. I'm going to cut you off, man.
360 deal should have been handed out since the beginning. 360 deal is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
If you can't generate revenue on your own, yeah.
360 deals is not a bad thing.
Yo.
360 deals should have been handed out early.
Yeah.
Early.
Maybe that's a mistake.
That's a big
That's the
mistake.
biggest
That's the
mistake.
biggest mistake. That is the biggest mistake. That is a fact.
Long-term investing and deals in perpetuity. That's why I tell you guys, like, yo, I need royalty. Like, hey, I want to do a collab with you. I'm like, yo, I need perpetuity. Man, you tripping. Tupac wouldn't ask for perpetuity. I'm like, he did. She'll just give it to him and the boy didn't get a chance to live. Entrepreneurs, write this down. If you help someone build their brand, there should be some equity that you get in perpetuity off of it.
Oh, yeah. Lesson though.
Yeah.
Lesson though. Won't happen again.
360 off rip.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I don't want to butcher your name. Go ahead.
It's Timothea.
Timothea, what's up?
Good evening, gentlemen. And first, I want to thank you guys for your service to the EYL movement. It is absolutely incredible to be a part of this community.
Thank you.
But my question is, can you help me to understand what we should be looking at in relationship to the market as it relates to war? There's a lot of information in the news about the Ukraine and Russia and the US's potential intervention. Any information you can give would be great.
Permission to speak honestly and calmly. Biden is just talking. He's not going to make a move. He doesn't, and his term is going to come to an end soon, but he doesn't want to be early cannon fodder in that debate. The powers that be in the countries that really run the world, they'll get that settled. Is it scary? Yes, but if you go look historically through war, through every cycle, and it's one of the things that Josh talked about, Bonham talked about, I think in the second episode when he was here, no matter what we've been through, war, famine, feast, manipulation of markets, derivatives, like the market is always doing well. So in the short term, it may suck. For those of us that are old enough to remember the Gulf War, that 90, 91, 92, 93 span, things were tough, right? But that 5-year period, the market is always fine. So I wouldn't look at a short-term situation. And let's be honest, we just got out of the war in Iraq, last year? And the market boomed as a result. So in the grand scheme of things, it won't matter that much, even though politically and for our country, it is terrifying. The only threat that I'm worried about is China's, for lack of a better term, three-headed dragon strategy that they're going to use against us, which is Russia, Africa, which is why they bind up all of Africa and then Latin America to then attack the country. And this is why, like, all this, the reason why I'm so big on the comments, because the thing that tears our community apart is the infighting. Like, we're going to end up having a civil war off of media. And then that's when they're going to send Russia in, Latin America in, Africa in at one time to then try and finish the job off. Like, this is a game of chess. But as far as the short-term war, we have nothing to worry about. Honestly.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and
Can
gentlemen.
I squeeze in one more question, guys? I'm sorry.
Shotty, you ready to get in the snow? Shotty tired of me, man. I was calm.
Guidelines, Janet.
Come on.
No. Well, go ahead.
Last one. All right. I hope she's ready to.
What's the name?
Amy.
Shout out to somebody's putting in the chat, it's their birthday. Happy birthday. I saw you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, Amy.
Evening. I'll make it real quick. Thank you guys so much, first and foremost, for what you do. Most of us don't take it for granted.
No.
So
It's a little entertainment too. To take your time. Well, we got you.
All right.
I'm gonna protect you.
My question is just in regards to options versus futures trading. So I recently started options trading, but listening to Market Mondays, Ian, it sounds like you're more of a proponent for futures. So I just wanted to know, is there an advantage to one versus the other? And do you recommend people doing both, or what are your thoughts on the two?
My advice to anyone is to focus on the one that you're going to put the most time into. For me, well, what is your financial goal? Like, you don't have to say a dollar amount, but like, what's your end goal?
I'm still working on that realistically, honestly.
There's no such thing as realism. You are amazing. You are worthy. But this is the part that when I focus on it, I know it's tough. And I've even told my brother this, my friends, it's like, go in the mirror and you're going to feel crazy when you do it. You're going to be like, damn, Ian got me doing this voodoo in the mirror. You have to say, I am worthy to make $9 million a year. I'm worthy to make $20 million a year. The first 30 days you say it, you're going to feel crazy. Trust me. Then you're going to get to a point and then the world is going to open up. You're going to see deals in a different structure. Here's what I do know. And I was just talking about this with Melissa, like when you hit a goal, because there's different types of depression. I'm not talking about clinical depression, but when you hit a goal, well, I'll ask you guys, have you guys ever hit a goal and you thought it was big, but it was really small? When you hit it, you was more disappointed with actually hitting the goal.
Yeah.
It sent you down a spiral. Like, why didn't I reach bigger? So now you have to set another goal, another one on top of that, right? So pick that
Another one.
Shout out Khaled. But in terms of why I pick one over the other, futures pays more. It's no way to. Now it's harder, but it's harder to play in the NBA than it is overseas. But the reward is higher as a result. So that's why I put all my attention and time in the futures. So whatever one you lean towards the most, there are advantages to both, right? Ultimately, maybe for year 4, year 5, if you can do long-term investing in futures and options, you're great, but you're going to have to build your base with one. That's why everyone who was in Forex, when the Forex liquidity dried up and it went right to Bitcoin in 2015, 2016, they picked up because now Bitcoin looked like the Euro USD. Shout out to everybody that was trading Forex before. Then the penny stock volume dried up and went to Bitcoin. That's why the markets are damn near the same in terms of liquidity, volume. Like the chat names are almost the same, right? So pick one that you can master. For me, when that lady took that money from me, my baby's gonna be 7 on the 7th of February. I was like, I'm never gonna let a person on earth tell me when I can take care of my child, how I want to take care of my child. And then the only people that I knew that was making real money out of the market that was trading were futures traders. So I want you to pick your goal first, but I want you to set a high goal because you're worthy of $2 to $5 million, $7 million a year, even if you don't know how you're gonna get there. How you gonna get there doesn't matter. The decision to get there. And I know Shadi humble, not number one podcast, ambitious. My boy get to grinning. I'm like, oh God, he called Diddy today. Puffed and told him, so hey, Playboy, if Big would have had the podcast with, get him riled up. So Marv, we're gonna kick it after this. We're gonna look talk. Yeah, Dynasty. No, not Ming, but Sean, Dame Kareem, gangster team. You worthy that $5 million.
Yeah.
Go get it. And I'm here to help you. And if I made y'all money, please put yes in chat. I don't have my drop in yet, but I will.
That's the drop. Yeah. And somebody's asking where could they learn futures? There was this
Red Panda.
There was this guy we interviewed on episode 70 on Earn Your Leisure.
Classic should have went triple.
By the name of Ian Dunlap. Pretty good source. You might want to tap in with him.
Duval had a good post. Like a lot of times people get finessed because they're looking at the people that are being flashy versus the ones who are really good. That episode would have went great if I was like, yo, let me show you how to make 200% long-term investing, how to make $25,000 a week with futures. Mitigation of risk. I don't want that trouble. It comes with that. Trading has considerable risk. Please consult your advisors. My NFT creators, please go get your legal if you are now just making your NFTs. For those of you who are teaching trading, please be very, and I'll do you a solid. Go on joinredpanda.com, copy my disclaimer, send it to your lawyer, tell them to make you something like that. Because when you get a class action lawsuit and they're going to try and come get you for 25 or 50 million, and most you don't have it, you're going to go bankrupt. We just saw it happen with the girl, Tasha K, who was doing it with Cardi. Be mindful. There's a bunch of ways. You may not be able to beat competition head on. The legal way is another way to get a lot of people out. That's why you see so many lawsuits in corporate. Be mindful, protect yourself at that's why I never talk big numbers. The risk isn't worth it. The wolves are always watching. It's just different wolves on different levels.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Market Mondays, another Market Mondays in the book. Shout out to everybody that got a chance to check it out. If you haven't got a chance to check it out, your replay will be available. Check out the Apple, Spotify. And shout out to Apple once again. Check us out tomorrow on
especially on Apple.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Parting words for Ally?
Yeah. First, shout out to my parents. They actually tune into Market Mondays right now.
Oh, that's amazing. Shout out to them.
Yeah. I said, yo, you should.
Amazing.
I'm like, yo, you should understand what's happening. Like, this is a big thing that's happening. Like, you don't even know about it. So they gave Rachel Maddows a break for the night, and they tuned into their youngest son. So
I'm honored. I appreciate
shout
it.
out to my parents for tuning in, and shout out to all the earners and the pandas. So we want to let y'all know about a great choice. If you're looking to bank or invest, Ally is a leading digital financial service company with passionate customer service, innovative financial solutions, and are relentlessly focused on doing it right for both customers and our communities. Get with Ally so that you can save, invest, and spend on the things that matter to you most. For everything we need, we're all better off with an Ally. Shout out to the good folks over there.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
said try to get Byron Allen. I ran up on Byron
Well,
Allen.
that was interesting.
He looked at me like I was crazy. So if y'all know Byron Allen,
Maybe he was having a rough day.
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the Rams were losing at the time. We were at the game.
I mean, I would say I don't know.
But he been going through some stuff though. Like when
it was kind of one of those, what? Huh? What? So
does that give you motivation though?
Yes. Every time we walk away from a situation like that, I'm like, we gotta go harder. We gotta go harder. They don't know. Okay. They don't know?
Yeah.
All right. Foot on the gas.
And also too, I want you guys that are watching to be mindful too. Like if someone doesn't know you using the motivation, but don't let it fuel your hate. Because I mean, he's a normal person too, and he just may not have been exposed.
That's
you
it.
never know.
Yeah,
that's all. That's one of the valuable lessons in life. We never take anything personal. I know for sure he's not taking. I don't take it personal. Just all right. We gotta keep going. Nothing happens before it's time. So
that's a fact.
But when it does happen, oh baby. You want to give an update on Houston dates? I saw somebody in Zoom asking about it.
Want to give another now? So the Houston date will be. We're gonna finalize it. It'll be like in the first week of April, and so Houston, we are looking forward.
What y'all gonna get?
So looking forward to being out there.
I want to say it, but
hey, somebody's talking about some stuff. What's going on? What's this?
That's Matt. I told you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see.
See, he wrapping up. It's good. He ready to drive through the snow. Go get him some
I didn't even get on my
chocolate.
sound. I didn't even use all my sounds today, man. All right, I got more. Don't worry. Tune in next week. I got some more.
Red Panda family, stock club call in like 8 minutes. I'm gonna put the link in Telegram. Yes, there will be a recording. I'll put it out. We're gonna go over how to know what the 50% off ratio on the stock is, and then what 75% off is. We'll do for like 10-15 minutes, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. Jan, we got a listening party. You said on Friday? This Friday?
Yes, Powernomics at
Okay,
12.
cool. Solid. That's a good one.
You want to say goodbye to the people?
Miss Ford.
Yeah, and I'll actually turn on the sound so you can hear.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Orgasm Studios, please book LA.
Yes.
There
you have it.
Thank you for allowing us to use the space. We appreciate you.
Love y'all.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Julian Gordon tomorrow, 8:00. Shout out to Julian.
Yeah, I know you're gonna have some quotables on there.
Big one, big episode.
Please tune in. And Trading After Dark tomorrow. What time your episode come out?
I was going to talk to you about that actually.
Yeah, I gotta move. Hold on. I'm screening you. So, okay, my bad. We're gonna do like 10 then.
Okay.
That's a violation. Hold on. Hey, I played it back in my head. I was like, yo, I'm crazy.
I was gonna call
my
you.
bad.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
We cleared it up.
Mindful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Come on, man. I'm not the other ones. You know what I mean? The other one's acting stupid.
Oh, you like when they try to drop something on a Monday at 8?
Come on, we doing timeout. We doing peace. What you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen.
But then when I get the leather jacket, yo, you go.
See you guys next week.
Oh, yo, gotta go. Go get hot chocolate time. Bye.
Why would you?
Why?
Why? All right, y'all. Love is love. Peace.